Live from Kings Mountain High School, it's Mountaineer football tonight, the weekly coaches show where we discuss everything Mountaineer football. Brought to you by the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club and sponsored by ASI Incorporated, Harris Funeral Home, and the Kings Mountain Family YMCA. The Player of the Week is brought to you by Butler's Outdoor Design. And now your host, Craig Short, with head coach Strait Herrion for Mountaineer football tonight.
Welcome fans to Mountaineer football tonight. We're here with Coach Herrion. We'll welcome him in just a moment. We're going to talk about the big win over Forestview and then the bye week that was after that, and then we'll talk about this week's game, which is homecoming here at John Gamble Stadium against the North Gaston Wildcats. So we'll do a quick commercial break and we'll get back and get right to it. So stick around and we'll see you in just a minute.
Mountaineer football tonight is brought to you by the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home, and ASI Incorporated.
Welcome back, fans. Coach, like always, welcome you. Good to see you. Good to see your face. We had to do it on the phone last time,
Yeah.
which is better for me. Nobody wants to see me. They want to see you.
We got it done.
We did. Big win going into Forestview after a really tough game, but a good game against Charlotte Catholic. We talked about that on the phone. I know you were real pleased with how you played, but you had to be pleased with how the guys came out right off the bat and jumped on them there at Forestview.
Yeah, you always worry about what's the mentality going to be like coming in after not getting beaten. But our guys, they stepped right up, and I thought they not only did they win by a lot, I thought we played well. I thought we did some good things. The few things that we miss, we got to quit having penalties on big plays, and we can't drop passes. But I thought overall we played really, really well.
I think you did. It looked to me consistently through the game. There wasn't much of an ebb and a flow. In other words, you weren't like up and then down, and even responding to the few mistakes like the penalties weren't real. I mean, they hurt a little, but the boys are responding well and rebounding. And it was to me, it was a consistent game on both sides of the ball, and pretty much special teams as well.
Yeah, I agree. I thought our defense pitched a shutout, which was huge, and after the first couple of series, the offense kind of struggled off the bat, and we'll talk about that later. We've got to figure out how to get going off a lot sooner. We can't give up opportunities to score, or at least win the field position battle when we get into these big games. And but I thought that we did do well in the special teams, and our defense. Anytime you pitch shutout, that's a good night. So just so everybody knows, you pitch a shutout on defense, you score more than 40 on offense, you get pizza and wings. So we fed them all. We even fed the JVs because they've had 2 shutouts too. Yeah, so we fed them all pizza and wings the other night. And shout out to our touchdown club supporter people who helped us with that. But that was a fun night.
Now wait a minute. Now, what is it Coach Carroll always cooks?
He don't cook anything.
Well, he gets it. He gets it delivered. So what?
He started a tradition a long time ago, back when he was a defense coordinator at Northwestern. Anytime they got a shutout, he would feed the defense wings, and he would go get donations, and coaches would chip in. And they would go buy wings for the guys, and so we kind of kept that tradition going. When we were at South Point, we did the same thing together, and when he left and I took over at South Point, we kept the tradition going, and so we just said, heck, we'll bring it over here.
No, what was it like? No, I remember that part. What was it last year you cooked? It wasn't Low Country Boil.
Yeah, we won't do that until it starts cooling off, but it's a Chicken bog.
Chicken bog. That's what it was.
Yeah, we won't start that till it gets
Now, does
cool.
he cook that?
No, he don't cook.
I figured he cooked
anything.
He won't take credit for it. So offensively, talk a little bit, Coach, about the execution. You said it took you a little while to get going.
Yeah.
But looking back at the game, once we got clicking, things were working really well. KJ had a good night. We had a good night up front, allowing things to open up for the run game.
Yeah.
Him throwing the ball. So
well, it's just about like, after you go back and you watch the video and remember, that the first series out defense, we get them stopped and then we have a pass interference, which they end up getting 6 plays out of. We go out on offense and go 6 plays and have to punt. Then the defense goes out and goes 3 and out, and then it starts to roll.
Yeah.
So, the 46-yard touchdown pass to Tex, and then the very next play on defense, Tex pick 6, and then really the only drive that they had the whole game was the next drive. They had a 12-play drive due to our penalties. We gave them that, and that was, I got on our guys about that a little bit. We ended up getting a 4th down stop, and then we came back on offense. We ended up missing the field goal. We got a fumble recovery. Then we scored on a 29-yard pass, went 3 and out, and then we scored again on a 22-yard pass, and then it was halftime. We were up 28-0.
Yeah.
So it started to flow, and then when we came back in the second half, it just continued.
It did. In fact, I was really impressed with the I think it was the final drive that you guys had when you had some backup players in, maybe even some JV players. I don't want to speak out of turn and say for sure.
Yeah.
But busted a pretty big one. A good.
Well, that was
there.
it really wasn't a drive. It was.
It really. I was going to see it.
We got the ball. We put Kavion Byers, a freshman, at quarterback, and we brought Elijah Long in, who was a JV freshman, and just handed him the ball, and he goes 50 yards and scores.
Yeah,
so
he got loose.
Big. I'm sure that's going to be a huge memory for him forever. That's a good play, good run. And we had a lot of backup offensive linemen in too. So they opened up the hole for him. It was a pretty good play.
Talk about the defense, Coach. I know obviously a shutout is enormous,
yes,
and it is very important. But I know when we were going into the game, you were talking about obviously we respect everybody we play, but they were kind of a little bit of an anomaly, so to speak. They were a little bit chaotic the way they moved around and did some things. You had to be really pleased with how our guys settled in and played extremely well. Because, I mean, the shutout speaks for itself, but there's a lot you got to do to get to that shutout.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of guys being in the right gaps. We come back, we watch the film over the weekend, and Coach Carroll's in there pretty upset because we can't get a defensive end to hit the offensive tackle, which is what we want them to do. And the few good plays that they had was something that we did wrong. Mm-hmm. And so if we can just get those little things fixed, we could have a solid defensive performance like what we had, but it can be completely what we want. And so, but the defense really played well, and we had Samaj, of course, had a great night. Lathan Feemster had a great night. Wiley Rainey had some plays that were really nice plays, but the list goes on and on. I mean, I can think in my head right now. I don't think there's a defensive player that I can't think of who didn't have a good night. Of course, Tex doing what he did is big. So the defense played really well, and this is a good time to be doing that. Right now is a good time to be beginning to peak defensively. So we just got to keep it going as we hit this rough stretch down the backside of the schedule. Yeah,
which we've talked about, but I think, like you're saying, peaking at a good time to get into that. One of the things I've noticed, Coach, defensively is, and it continued there, a lot of guys are getting to the ball.
Yes.
We don't see, there are not a lot of I mean, solo tackles are great, two-man tackles or whatever. I mean, but you're seeing guys rally into the ball no matter where it is. A lot of whatever shirt we're wearing that night, jersey we're wearing, there's a lot of that color around, and that's a good thing to see.
Yeah, and that's been one of our emphasis in practice that we've been trying to get the guys to get all 11 to the ball, and I explained it to our players that, man, when you play a defensive team, when they've got all 11 guys trying to get to the person with the football, it gives a different mentality when you're the person with the football. So again, back in the old days, we used to have a tight copy of our film, a wide copy, and an end zone copy. But we used to do this thing in the tight copy, and we made sure that the tight copy was tight. That if you weren't inside of that picture frame when the play ended, then it was considered a loaf. And then the whole defense would have something to do at the end of practice for every loaf that a player had. So we have talked to them about that. We haven't instituted it yet, but I think that they're understanding. Hey, man, I want to be in that frame. Right. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. So big win, good win to start the conference before you go into a break. That was a good thing too. I know that it wasn't necessarily maybe where you wanted to put the break in right after a conference game. However, I think that it was a good way to start the conference season and then have some time off to heal up and just rest a little bit.
Right. The main thing about this past week was just taking the time to get people healthy, and we had 3 really good days of practice, which I was shocked at. It's hard to get guys to practice when you're on a bye week and they know there's not a game coming up, but our guys did a really good job, but I think those practices we did what we normally do, but at the same time they had the opportunity to get healed, and there wasn't we didn't do any banging at practice. There was no hitting and any of that kind of stuff, so gave them opportunity to get well.
Good. So huge win, good conference win, starting 1-0 in the conference. We'll take a break from that. Talking that game, we'll come back to the players of the game, and then we'll talk about this week's opponent against North Gaston. Be back in just a minute.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is brought to you by the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home, and ASI Incorporated.
Great highlight. Come back in. Coach, let's talk about the Butler Outdoor Designs Players of the Week. Let's let you start whichever one you want to do. So offense, defense, however you want to do it.
Let's just do the overall Player of the Week first, and I'm gonna go with Tex Vaughn. He had a great night offensively and defensively, so that's my reason for it. He had 5 catches for 105 yards, 2 touchdowns on the offensive side of the ball, but he also had the pick 6 on defense. So three touchdowns on the night, and did a great job. When he's on, it's like a man among boys. He can, on that clip you just saw, it was like little gnats nipping at his heels, and he was just running right by him. But he had a good night, and so he's going to be the overall Player of the Week. Offensively, I'm going to go with KJ. He ended up, now I don't know why I started doing that, put on glasses. He was 13 for 19, passing 228 yards, 3 touchdown passes, and he had a rushing touchdown. So KJ will be the Offensive Player of the Week. Honorable mentions, I'm going to start with Sam Bryson. I always ask Coach Bill after we watched the video who he thought played well on the offensive line and who didn't play very well. And Sam Bryson, he said he thought that Sam played the best this week, so we got to give him a shout out. Kareem Coleman ended up the night 94 yards and a touchdown rushing, which is a pretty good night. Cam Hauser, he had a 20-yard touchdown reception, and also he ran the ball, I think, once for 10 yards. But Cam, that was a great play that we kind of worked on all week, and we're able to get him out there in flats, just tossing the ball, and he can catch and go with it. So all of those are honorable mentions. On defense, I'm going to go with Samaj as the defensive player of the week. He led the team in production points of 48. He had 8 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, a quarterback pressure, and 3 third down stops, which was pretty good. Deshaun Camp had 36 production points in second. He had a good night, and Latham Feimster had 35 production points, and both of them played really well too. Special teams player of the week, I'm going to go with Vidal Carrillo, our new PAT kicker, and although he missed a field goal, which I really probably shouldn't have put him in that situation, but we just thought that maybe it would be good experience for him. But he was 7 for 7 on PAT, so Vidal was the special teams player of the week.
Coach, I haven't even asked about him. I know you added him to the roster a few weeks ago. Has he ever played football before?
No.
What's been his adjustment like? Has he seeming to enjoy it, or?
Oh, I think he likes it a lot.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he really enjoys it, and I think as he does it more, I would love to see him go get some lessons from a kicking instructor. I think because he's got such a strong leg, but that's the best part about it. He doesn't smile now. I'll just go ahead and tell you, he don't smile. He doesn't. He just goes through. But I think he really enjoys. He really enjoys playing, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah. What year is he?
June. Don't ask me that.
Okay. We know he's got more eligibility.
Yes.
Well, he's not a singer.
He's good.
All right, good deal. Great choices this week for the players of the week. Thank you, Butler's Outdoor Designs, for sponsoring those. We'll take another quick break. After that, we come back, we'll talk about North Gaston, so stick around.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is brought to you by the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home, and ASI Incorporated.
Gotcha. Welcome back, fans. Coach, let's talk about North Gaston, the homecoming week. If it's okay with you, I don't really care to talk about homecoming. I mean, it is what it is. Old coach and me, it's a game to me.
Yeah.
I don't care to talk too much about it. I know the band will be great, like they always are. The young ladies will show up with their daddies and their escorts. But let's talk about our guys. Tell me what you're seeing from North Gaston.
Well, I think the first thing that I noticed watching them on video is that the numbers. They don't seem to have quite the numbers as you would expect for a school their size to have, and so I think that's got to be beneficial to us. Mm-hmm. Of course, we've got kids that are playing on both sides of the ball a lot too, but I think their depth is going to be a concern for them, or it's got to be a concern for them. So that's something where we've got to be smart, get guys in the right places, and play hard, and continue to play hard, and do our best just to get an advantage by having more numbers. Yeah. So, but they do have some talented kids. They've got some guys that play extremely hard, and I watch them. I was watching their punt return team the other day, getting our punt team ready, and man, they had 3 guys that were just mauling the people from the other team. So they play hard. They've got some guys that's got some good speed. So it's going to be important that we execute and that we keep the pressure on.
Yeah, you know they're well coached. Coach Wilson's a great coach, and I know he's a good defensive mind. Are they running? I know last year on offense he was a little more. He were in a real tight formation.
Yeah.
Is he spreading it out anymore?
Yeah, they are, but they use like a tight end wing and that kind of stuff too. So they could do like what we call an over formation where the tight end, the wing, and the split ends on the same side. So they're doing a little bit more stuff. But you know, we've gone back and watched film from last year, and some of it is the same. Yeah. So, it's offensively they you know, those formations, the things that they can do to you if you're not lined up correctly, which we've had a problem doing that in the past. It can come back to get you. Yeah. So that's what we're going to work on hard this week to make sure we're in the right position.
Recognize the formations to be where you are.
Yep.
Defensively, coach, are they running a 4-man, 5? What type of front are they running?
They're 4-man, and you know, in the secondary is sometimes kind of hard to figure out if it's a match coverage or sometimes they do like to play man and send them, and so it's kind of difficult to pick up exactly what they're doing. So you got to pick your battles. You got to be smart with football and get it to the places where you think they need to be. You're not going to out formation them. You're not going to do any of that kind of stuff. You just got to line up and play good football and execute. That's the key. Is you got to execute.
Yeah, we were talking off air. Drew asked about any extra preparation or special preparation for the week because it's homecoming. You said no because it's a game, and I agree. I mean, I know with all the years with coaching, we've always, everywhere I've been, even here, we tried to keep it just as normal as possible. Right. Because you don't want to add any more frustration or distraction or whatever. But it will be a fun day and a good time. Our community is always really good with homecoming. And
well, that's the one thing I would say when my first year here, when I found out that there was a parade at 2:00 in the afternoon, and I'm the type that we have an itinerary and it's down to the minute of where people have to be or supposed to be. And when I found out that there was a parade and that there was all this stuff that's going on, I was like, man, we're going to have to move pregame meal. It's got to be moved back and all this stuff. And I was really kind of, it was the first year, so I was a little. It kind of got me out of my rhythm. But now that on year 3, I have to say that it is a very neat experience to be able to go out and get out of school 2:00 and ride through town, and people are cheering on the kids, and it's a really neat thing, and it's just something that I have to adjust the schedule to and move on. But I've never been to a school that does it like that, and it's pretty special.
Well, I'll give you one better, and you can ask some of the old heads around here. When we first got here back in 2007, there was something going on with the Spanish classes. They practiced all week. I think they did a dinner. They did like all these events, but they would dance. The young men in the classes would dance with the young ladies, and it was a special, like it was a cultural thing. Yeah. And I remember I forgot who we were playing that week, but guys were like showing up extremely late to practice our first year, and we're like, where are you guys coming from? And they're like, Coach, we're in Spanish. We're doing this. We had no idea.
Oh wow.
And so like we were like, this can't happen. So the preceding years, eventually that went away, but the preceding years, once we figured it out, we worked it out. But we were like you, when we got caught off, I'll never forget that. It was some kind of Spanish festival dancing thing, and we were like, you got to be at practice, But every school does.
So can we go ahead and put it on air that we do not want that to happen again? I'm all for all these things, but 3:30, give them to me.
Yeah, we were the same way. And eventually, I will say, we worked it out. It was fine. It just was that first year we were like, wow, and it caught us off guard. But little things like that happen.
Little stuff, but it is. I really enjoy that. I think the kids really get into it, and that's what makes homecoming special. That's something that you'll remember for a long time.
Absolutely. It's a good time, and our community, like you said, our community gets behind it, and it's such a neat thing to see because the kids feed off of that as well. So it's a good thing.
That's right.
All right. So this Friday night, we'll talk about that more in just a moment. We showed this week at Kings Mountain. We're going to get Coach out of here on that because he's been here all day and let him get home to his family. But North Gaston this Friday, homecoming here at John Gamble, and we'll finish up here in just a moment after the break. Coach, appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
Safe travels home. Good to see you. We'll be back in just a moment.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is brought to you by the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Harris Funeral Home, and ASI Incorporated.
Welcome back, fans. We are going to close the show out like we always do. We're going to talk about this week at Kings Mountain. We'll show you the things that are going on here at Kings Mountain High School this week with academics and athletics. And Drew will pop up the graphic. We'll also talk about this week's homecoming game and how it's coming up. And also, there's a change, I believe. It's on there. Yes, we've got a JV game change. Not a change, but an addition. So tonight, right now, the soccer team is playing outside. I really hope they're winning. I also hope that women's golf got their match in today through the rain. Volleyball is at North Gaston 4:30 and 6. That's typically a really big day because North Gaston is very strong, but I'm sure our girls have done quite well. You can also see real quick, this is Spirit Week because it is homecoming. Today was Twin Day. Tomorrow is Soccer Moms and Barbecue Dads. That's a neat one. Women's tennis will be away at Ashbrook, and cross country will be at Hunter Huss at 4:30. Men's soccer playing again on Wednesday at 6 o'clock at Hunter Huss. That is the pink out day. Thursday is a really busy day, as you can see there. We've got women's tennis at Crest at 4, volleyball versus Ashbrook here at home at 4:30 and 6, and JV football. That's what I was going to pick up for you there. JV football has a game. North Gaston doesn't have a JV team, but our JV boys will be traveling to Bunker Hill up at Claremont, North Carolina, up in Catawba County. That will be a 7 o'clock kickoff. Spirit Day that day is Jersey Day. And then Friday night, the big game here for homecoming, you've got varsity football versus North Gaston at 7:30 here at John Gamble. That's Mountaineer Pride Day. And we've got one final thing. Cross country will be in the Wendy's Invitational at McAlpine Park in Charlotte at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. So as you can see, a very full week here at Kings Mountain, not only with Spirit Week, but also with athletics. Please come out and support the Mountaineers.
Me and Jeff might run the cross country.
Jeff and Drew.
Talking about that.
Jeff obviously doesn't know that, I don't think, but he's been volunteering. Maybe Mike Gann can also run. I would like to actually see that one more than any of the others. Mike Gann run in the cross-country event. Anywho, we want to we want to thank the Touchdown Club like we do each week for making this possible. Touchdown Club provides all the opportunity for us to record this show and put it on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, before I go back to Touchdown Club, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We'll be viewing or airing the game on Friday night. We try to make sure we do all the home games, and occasionally we get to do an away game. But we thank you for liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel. KM Touchdown Club, as I was saying, though, makes it possible. Thank you for the leaders there, David and Marie Brinkley and the others who are in charge of it, making it possible. As I say each week, thank you for what you do, Touchdown Club, supporting all things Mountaineer, academic, athletic, everything. And we really would like for you to join if you're not a member. KMTouchdownClub.com is how you can join. You can also talk to one of the members. They will be sitting inside the home gate by the press box Friday night selling programs and used jerseys. All the proceeds go to the Touchdown Club because all of the money is used for Mountaineer everything, academics and athletics. Great show this week. Appreciate Drew behind the camera and the computer. As always, we want to see you Friday night. Actually, we'd love to see you Thursday night up in Claremont at Bunker Hill for the JV game. If you can't make that one, we want to see you Friday. If you can't make the game, look for us on air on YouTube Friday night. Pre-game will be at 6:45 and kickoff will be at 7:30. Hope you have a wonderful week. Try to stay dry. Hug and love those that are around you. Family, don't take them for granted. And thank the Lord for them and the blessings that you have. Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful week and be blessed.
Mountaineer Football Tonight was brought to you by the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club and sponsored by ASI Incorporated, Harris Funeral Home, and the Kings Mountain Family YMCA. The Player of the Week brought to you by Butler's Outdoor Design. This has been a presentation of KMHS Sports.